Now, major stock markets steadied on Wednesday as traders weighed a spike in US and UK inflation that raised concerns that President Donald Trump's tariffs could be feeding into the American economy. European markets and Wall Street showed modest gains as the latest data dampened the prospect of interest rate cuts by the US Federal Reserve as a 1st of August deadline looms for Trump's latest tariff threat to several economies, including India. Here's a report.
US President Donald Trump is pushing through with his tariff agenda, dispatching a new batch of letters to country leaders outlining tariffs on goods. The US economy is facing growing pressure as tariffs begin their impact. While the broader US economy has remained resilient, the growing costs of items like appliances, clothing, and electronics have pushed inflation to its highest level in 4 months. The situation is now forcing many to question as to how long can the US withstand these pressures. Also, US consumer prices increased most in 5 months during June amid higher costs for some goods, even as Trump says that consumer prices are low and the Federal Reserve should bring down interest rates. Hailing a new era of trade relations with the United States, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto said that President Trump was quite hard to negotiate with after the two countries reached a deal to reduce proposed US tariffs from 32% to 19%.
Thank God, although the negotiation was quite tough, we understood the interest of the United States and they also understood our interests. We agreed on the tariffs now from 32% down to 19%. I will keep negotiating, and I would say Trump is quite hard to negotiate with.
Meanwhile, Indonesians question the fairness of their country's trade deal with the United States. The deal is only among a few agreements reached by the Trump administration so far, ahead of an August 1 deadline for negotiations.
Firstly, our competitiveness will go down, and secondly, it is likely that many orders will be postponed now. And thirdly, usually the US, will ask for a discount, as we know if we also have a fabric factory, they will also ask us for a discount so that all involved will bear together so that they can both live. Margins will definitely decrease.
Elsewhere in Greece, which is the world's biggest exporter of tinned peaches, of which 20% is exported to the United States, farmers and factory owners are worried that the 30% tariffs will dent demand for their produce. The tension is mounting, just as they are preparing to send their fresh harvest overseas, giving them little time to adapt or find alternative markets.
So for us, it is a great shock at the moment. The only thing we are doing is waiting and hoping that by August 1st, an agreement will appear that, let's say.
Amid all this, French and German finance ministers on Wednesday urged the United States to hold serious and targeted talks to reach a fair agreement in the EU-US tariff dispute. EU Trade Chief Maros Sefcovic is heading to Washington, D.C. for tariff talks with his counterparts. The European Commission has prepared to target 72 billion euros worth of US goods, from Boeing aircraft to bourbon whiskey to cars, for possible tariffs if trade talks with Washington fail. Bureau Report. DD